So, Jessica, I'll start with this question. How specifically around harnessing customer feedback? Like, what are the strategies that businesses implement to capture customer feedback today?
Yeah, and I think, kind of to start really like top line on this, in my professional opinion and kind of what I've seen, this really has to be like a leadership commitment top down before we even start talking about like, okay, what systems are we using? Like, how are we pulling data in? There needs to be a commitment organization wide that we actually care about this data, right? So, like, I can, as a leader, I can pull information all day, all night, right? But if leadership isn't actually ready to hear that feedback and to have a commitment to like, if we see trends, if we're tracking things, we actually want to make impactful change across the organization to help feed some of these solutions. You end up just like kind of existing in a silo, right? You're sort of what I like to call talking at a wall. So that's really where, to me, it starts. Like, it doesn't seem like it's much of a strategy, but it is. It's really about your business ethos and your internal culture as far as ensuring that everyone's committed to kind of acting on this. So that's really the first part. And then the second part, I mean, I think there's a million ways to do this, right? And that's when we start to talk about different technology and leveraging technology. But once you have, something in place that can allow you to actually look at and analyze this data, then it's about delivering that data in kind of a holistic way. I like, kind of the conversation about the difference between being reactive and proactive. So it's like, how do you take that data, not looking at it 2 weeks after it happened, but in real time, being able to be proactive and say, okay, we're seeing a trend in this problem. A really great example of this is when I worked for Quest Nutrition. All products had lot numbers, and we would, have people give feedback. We'd ask for lot number feedback if they had a problem with a product. And usually it took a lot of time to analyze that data. So we started kind of this like frontline initiative where it was essentially just like social listening, before social listening was even a thing, of like, okay, if we hear this lot X amount of times, we're going to consider that a problem, whether it's a problem or not. And we're going to go to R&D and we're going to pull top of production for that. And we're going to look at that lot. And that really allowed us to get ahead of a lot of things because, no process in manufacturing is ever going to be perfect. You get it as close to perfect as you can. But existing in this idea that, as a business, you never make a mistake or nothing ever happens. Like, it has to be the customer's mistaken, I think is where a lot of people go wrong. If you exist in a world where you can always be wrong, no matter what, like anything, I live in a world where anything can happen. The craziest stuff imaginable, I believe it could happen. So that way I'm never kind of existing in this quiet space in my mind of like not believing something so that I'm always actioning things. So I think that kind of, to me, again, like maybe not really a frontline strategy all the way down, but it really is a strategy in its own way because it allows you to be open and kind of make sure you're communicating throughout the business.